Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video we will learn about session and cookie management in React. First of all, we will learn about what are cookies. Cookies are small text files typically limited to a size of 4 KB stored in the user browser, which are used for store users data and that can be accessible by the web server on a visit. Key purpose of cookie. Cookie enables features like personalization, authentication, session management and enhancing the user experience. Importance of cookies in web development. In personalization, cookies allow websites to remember the user preferences data and providing a personalized experience for each visit. Session management. In this, cookie manage the user session login data and provide a seamless navigation. For use cookie in React project, we need to use React Cookie Library. React Cookie Library simplifies cookie management in React application with features like easy API access, server-side rendering support, and a set of utility functions for common cookie-related tasks. First of all, we need to install React Cookie Library using npm install React Cookie command. Then after, import the library in your React component using import statement. Then set the cookie using setCookie function. In this, pass name, value and options. In options, pass like expiration date. Then after, for reading and accessing cookie, use cookie hook is used. For removing cookie, remove cookie function is used for remove unnecessary cookies and clean the space. Best practices and consideration. Minimize cookie uses, optimize performance. Then monitor activity to address security and compliance risks.
Hello everyone. First create a login page.js file. Then manage the state of useState hook to manage state of username and password. Then the handle a submit click event function to handle a submit function, prevent the default form submission behavior and call the on login callback with username and password. And the input field username and password, update the set variable in using the on change event. Then the create a welcome page.js file to accept a user props, which the expected to be an object with a username property, and display a welcome message dynamically insert the username from the user object. Then the app.js file, two components are imported. First of all, welcome page and login page. Then the import a React cookie library for an external library to manage a cookie in React application. Cookie manager use cookie hook is used to access and modify cookie. The user cookie store a credential and submit the login page. If the check a condition, if the user cookie are exist, to render a welcome page and passing the cookie.user data as a props. Otherwise, the login page as a display allowing the user is logged. The cookie provider wrap the application to enable a cookie functionality throughout. Show the output. Pass the username and pass the password. Click the submit button to show a welcome message and pass the username as a hook.
Introduction to session. User specific data. Session store information like login status, shopping cart item, user performance, or other data relevant to a particular user's browsing activity. Server-side management. Session data is typically stored on the server, ensuring security and control. The browser simply holds a session identifier to access the stored information. Client-side identifier. The session identifier is passed back and forth between the client and server, allowing the server to identify the user session and retrieve the appropriate data. Purpose of sessions. User authentication. Once a user logs in, their session stores their login credentials, allowing them to access authorized content without repeatedly entering their information. Persistent shopping cart. Sessions maintain shopping cart item, allowing user to add or remove item, update quantity and process to checkout without losing their selection. Preferences. Sessions store user preferences such as language setting, display option or recent activity, providing a customized experience across different visits. Session management. Server-side databases store session data in a database, providing persistency and scalability suitable for high traffic applications with large amount of session data. In-memory storage. Keep session data in memory, offer fast access and reduce overhead. Best for applications with short-lived sessions and moderate data volumes. File-based storage. Store session data in file on the server, providing simplicity and easy to implementation, suitable for small applications with limited session data. Sessions have a defined lifetime after which they expire and are automatically destroyed. Sessions timeout. Sessions typically expire after a certain periods of activity. This helps ensure security and prevent resources from being up by sessions. Explicit session destruction. User can manually log out, effectively ending their session. These destroy the session data and remove the session identifier from the browser. Session expiration policies. Web applications can configure session lifetime policies, such as setting a specific duration or using sliding windows expiration. Session identifier. How session identifier work? When a user starts a session, the server generates a unique identifier. This identifier is typically stored in a cookie on the client browser or embedded in the URL. Purpose of session identifiers. Sessions identifier act as key to retrieve the corresponding session data from the server. Each request from the client includes the session identifier, allowing the server to identify the correct session and retrieve the associated information. Benefits and challenges of sessions. Enhanced user experience. Personalized browsing, smooth interaction, improved usability. Security risk. Session hijacking, unauthorized access, data branches. Complex management. Implementing secure session management requires careful planning and configuration. Privacy, data storage, user consent, and regulation.
Hello everyone. Let's start a demonstration of a session. It can be create one folder name is session. Then create a project for a while this command npx create react app and set the path in a terminal. Then the src folder create a one file. Then the src folder create a one file name is session context.js. First of all, import the internal library for a React create context, use state and use effect. Then create a session context using the session context round bracket. It acts as a container for a session data, user and function login and log out. Sessions are state managed to user state effect and use state and use effect. Use state manage the user state and use effect. Effect initialize the state by checking for a storage user in local storage. It makes the session persistence occurs browser reload. Then the two methods are used to login and log out. Login user data to store to login user data to store the data in the state and local storage and logout clears the user data from state and remove local host. Context provide component wraps around the component to provide access to the session context. Then login.js. First of all import context and state manage. Use context is used to consume the session context defined in your previous snippet. User state is used to manage the username input state. Then login handler and login handler function to handle login. Create a mock user handle login. Create a mock user object with a name and an ID. And the login function from a session context is called to store user data in a context local storage. Then dashboard.js. Import the context use context is used to consume the user and logout value from the session context. Condition if user is present to display welcome message with username user.name. And provide a logout button then called a logout function to clear the user session. And if user is not present then display message prompting the user is login. Then logout is click to clear session data. App.js. Import context is a session context. User context hooks consume the session context to access the use context and session context. Conditional if the user object exists to the dashboard component is rendered, and if user is not undefined the login component is rendered. Then show a output, enter a name Tanvi Kanani and then log out. Message welcome Tanvi Kanani. Session is log out. Login. Only welcome.